I would say that my favorite librarian is probably Judith Krug, who died in 2009. She was the creator of Banned Books Week, which was an opportunity for all of us to remember how important it is to guard our freedom of speech and to safeguard it even for people with whom we don't agree. And Judith Krug once said, "Real speech freedom is guaranteeing the rights of people who you wouldn't want to take home to dinner." Mm-hmm. And I understand that. She understood it, and I think it's in the culture of American libraries to understand. I think it is, like so many excessive actions, the result of fear. I think people are afraid to expose others to ideas that they find abhorrent. But you can't prevent people from being exposed to ideas. More and more, if there is an idea, it will out. And some of them are abhorrent, and some of them you just don't agree with. But the idea is simply to fight speech with more speech. And that's something that librarians inherently understand.
I just don't know what to say about the amount of resistance to the world of ideas. Ideas stand on their own, or they fall on the merits of the ideas themselves, not on the basis of some artificial theology or some, I have very little use for moralism. I think that moralism without being able to stand up to intellectual rigor is a false, it's a false morality. And I look at books that are even as elemental to the American experience as Huck Finn, being edited, being re-edited to take out the ugliness in American history. That book matters because of the ugliness that's in its pages, because of what Twain is documenting, and Jim's journey to humanity, to the full rigor of humanity, is important because of how he's regarded in his time and place. You take that out of it, and Jim's journey and the journey down the river mean less. That people would be arguing over this in a new century is embarrassing.
When I was in high school, there was a banned book, and the banned book was entitled Johnny Got His Gun.
Dalton Trumbo.
By Dalton Trumbo.
Right.
And I asked my librarian about the book, and she says, "I'll get you a copy."
There you
and
go.
And she did.
And what did it do for you, reading that book?
I loved that book because the book was very touching for me, because I didn't really so much read it as an anti-war book as a man who was suffering. Here was a man who had lost all bodily functions, but he could think and he could feel, and that much more than his actual thoughts moved me, and it made me cry because no one was listening. And I thought, how could they ban this book?
If there are ideas in a book that appeal to your intellect or your emotions or whatever, you should be able to experience that one way or the other. If you're going to try to ban books, then you're trying to ban thought, you're trying to ban emotion, and you're trying to ban things that make the country what it's supposed to be.
Well, it always disappoints me to see books censored in libraries and schools. Happens to my own books. It also happens to a lot of the books that I love the most. I believe that some people should not be able to make decisions for all people about what constitutes appropriate content, and that the responsibility of us as individuals and as parents is to make decisions about ourselves and our children, not about other people and their children.